Good afternoon, everyone. Fantastic presentations we had in the morning, amazing, and by Indus, Exola, Come2Yes, and definitely Parag showed you what are the emerging trends. Let me take you back in the 90s era. This is all started for me. It's a little of my story. The first game I played on a computer was Paratrooper. Uh, Fantastic crowd. I think there are some veterans here and they may sync up with me. What I faced, what I actually had the journey, they may have a similar journey. Windows 3.0. I immediately moved to arcade machine where I spent my entire summer vacations just finding where is Mario's crush, right? But unfortunately, she was always in some other castle. Used to spend a lot of money there. My parents thought, let's buy him something which will save money. Atari 2600 Junior. Pac-Man became my favorite game there. And another one was Pitfall. Finally, this changed my career. I got this way back, and here I understood that although the systems here were very good, but a handheld is portable is way much better because it's your device. So I could play anywhere, anytime, and all my friends here, like we were around 20 kids in the society. Everybody was huddling around same computer waiting for the turns, but definitely that was my personal device. Same thing landed me to a job wherein a job in Mumbai, but now that company is in Pune. It's called Reliance Games. Earlier it used to be called as Paradox Studios. I have some veterans here from Paradox Studios, and there's some fantastic colleagues with whom I worked. If I can show you a glimpse of it, if I can play this video. Can I have this video played? Oh, yeah, that was. Okay, so Brew, J2ME, Symbian, those are the platforms we had at that time, and there was not much options we had. CDMA, GSM were the devices. My playground was 240 by 320. Although I made this game in 2.5D, people converted into 3D at a later stage. I found this on the internet. But yeah, that was something which we developed at that time. Quickly moving to, I met a fantastic entrepreneur, a young dynamic entrepreneur, who actually gave me the opportunity to now work on real 3D games. 2005 era, 3D handsets were not there, but we made some amazing 3D games, Kickshot Pool, Bowling Babes, Archie in Tomato Pulp Fiction. The technology behind it was OpenGL ES and M3G with support of GSR 184. Way back, you have to create your own engines. There was nothing like Unity, Unreal, or anything. Or even if there were some systems on Chinese, but it were like not accessible to India developers especially. The problem existed in 3D games was the same problem what we have today. I think there are a lot of AI, Web3. Parag mentioned a few on VR, AR, but they are like WoW, which we had WoW in 3D. Unfortunately, they are not making money. The real money-making games are still Ludo, Cricket, Poker, Rummy, right? That's a mass market. That's a business. So we also ended up making games for business. Luckily, my entrepreneur was great, and he got Sachin Tendulkar, right? The biggest franchise you can work on. So we work on a few games, and it was not that great excitement for a game developer like me to actually come from a 3D background and make factory model. But what I learned here is factory model really requires process. 3D innovations, they are all on your research and you can play around. So one good thing is we understood how to make things as a process. Soon after, I got another veteran, like the sportsman, the best guy, who actually taught us what is calmness, what is curiosity. The guy here in the blue t-shirt, if you have seen him somewhere, you may relate to me. That's like 20 years back, which I am. And the person on the right side is the entrepreneur which I am talking about, who gave me the opportunity to work on this fantastic cricket games way back. So he's Dhoni, if you can relate him, is the long hair. Not the other long hair guy. He is a game designer from our studio, the center one. He was so keen and so excited about the process, how things works. And like it was fantastic journey. We built some games for him. Very fast forward, this was all in 2005. Then we made a ton of games, lot many games. The slide couldn't fit, but I just put something which I found on the internet recently. We worked on games which got millions of downloads. We worked on some good franchisee where we even made Om Nom character dance in Bollywood theme. Uh, then there's Google Map-based games. There's RMG games. There's one of the leading cricket game in India right now. So I've coded almost in all of CM heavily along with my team. Okay, so that's me. I'm a mobile game developer. I'm way away from PC and consoles. I did some experiments on Nintendo 2006, 2007, but I'm still a coder by default. So my KRA is tech due diligence right now. I'm GM at Nazara, uh, handling AI, handling Web3, but I'm also a passionate advocate of sustainable tourism. So you can talk anything about tourism to me. I'm very happy. Okay, so let's play quickly 2020. I spent 20 years, so I thought I will, instead of giving you all the gyans on Unity, Unreal, we have some experts panel coming after this, some sessions on Unity, Unreal. They will be much better to tell you about technology, what is happening right now. I will tell you what I learned in the last 20 years in a simple story, which I have gone through, and few people definitely there will be a revision for them, because these are not only my problems, my lessons. These are almost for every game developer. They have been through the same problems. Quickly, let's get to the first problem. My grandfather from the mother side, maternal side, in fact, he was the richest man in the village where I brought up. And he used to, every single night, he used to write down everything in his red diary, how many transactions he made, where all the money he has kept. We didn't have banks in our village, so he used to keep money at various places. One good thing I learned long back was, if something is important to you, you have to note it. There has to be documentation. When I landed in the job first time, my seniors were playing treasure hunt with me. They gave me 100 files and told, come on, play treasure hunt and find the bug. So it was just an unnecessary step, and I think that's a ragging of seniors, ragging of juniors in every company. So first lesson what I learned is, craft documentation as a clear and concise. It's like as good as a treasure map. So every developer should really, really care of documentation. So my second learning, in fact, my first game, which I showed you my second game on Android, but my first game was also a racing game. Unfortunately, I somehow closed that game in a very bad shape just to release it on time. First game experience, like most of the developers can relate. And you never want to look back at the code same again. The mistake which I did was I didn't write any reusable code, and it costed me a lot. So second game was actually more time than the first game, although it was a racing game. So second lesson what I learned is, if you don't use libraries or you don't create your own reusable components, you will end up doing same thing again and again. As a mobile game developer, that's like a fantastic lesson to learn. You should create components and libraries instead of making game files. Soon after, I really got an opportunity to work on a live television show. I joined a company called Cellcast, and we had some live TV shows coming up, and there was a Tombola game. But I was very introvert. Like I couldn't attend the meetings. I couldn't talk to people. In fact, like there was most of the developers at that era who wanted to work alone in their own systems. And one critical information which was missed by me at the end, because I didn't attend the meetings usually, is the show was supposed to be completely driven by automation system, but then producer decided the celebrity will call out the numbers physically. And my systems were all digital. I have pre-calculated who will be the winner and whom should I send the award on the SMS. It resulted in delay, and we had to postpone the meeting, postpone the show. So regularly engage with the stakeholder to align visions and expectations. That's my third advice, third lesson for every game developer. Although we did everything on that Tombola game, we managed to launch in a week, but the response was fantastic. My servers actually burnt physically because we didn't have cloud at the time, and my servers were actually inside the computer, inside the office. So we used to have a kind of a knock inside, and we couldn't, so it didn't burn, but it was like gateway timeout for most of the requests. So if you don't plan for scalability, you are going to have this situation. So that's the fourth lesson. Okay, I know that's lunchtime. I have very short time to finish the session. Uh, Somehow, for scalability, we followed the open source approach. We found out that there's tons of information on GitHub and NPM packages where I can just pick up something and fill it. But I found every developer was actually filling it 100%. For a single format like date format, people used to take moment.js. For an array operation, people used to take Lodash. If you just want a spin wheel, there's a package which gives you spin wheel, slot machine, scratch card, everything all in. Right? We actually loaded. And developers used to say, my machine is very slow, please change. But the machine was not slow, their plate was full. So it's not about having more. Even if it's free, it doesn't mean you have to take it all. Right? You should take it only what you need. So it's about having what's right. I'm sure like everybody's looking at the plates. You'll definitely find 2-3 people like that after this session. So I got married very early, and I was the only married person in my team. People used to come to me saying, hey, this is my girlfriend. Can you check whether she will be a good wife? You know everything. I had to create a checklist. Like I was that guy. Okay, the girl should have this, she should family person, culture, and all. But nobody came to me for a code review, and even we didn't have a code review process. The thing what was there as a friendly thing, which it never happened in the professional life. I think I missed a lot. We didn't have a review process, and we faced a lot of challenge because of this. My sixth advice, in fact, is like you should always have a buddy. If you don't have a seniors or seniors doesn't have time, a buddy is always your friend in need. So it's a cheat code for your bug-free launch. We didn't have it. We suffered a lot. Somehow we released the game which we were working on very heavily, but the problem was we were late by a month, and our testers and the project manager didn't have enough time to look at it, and we missed the testing cycle. When we missed the testing cycle, you know, it's a party for the bugs. And we had this multiple times. When we gave the build to the client, it always worked on our handset, but on the client side, it never works. This happens multiple times. This happened for us. Clients loaded the game, and it was crashing on their handset. And it is a very common problem. So now we have so many tools. At that time, we didn't have fantastic tools. I'm sure the game developers may be using some tools, but if they are not, what I see currently at my position when I evaluate a lot many games, because that's my KRA, I don't see any Firebase Test Lab, I don't see APM, I don't see Selenium being used. But these are free services. Like mostly you can take advantage of till the time you are making good enough money out of it. So one disadvantage is like if you don't follow it, definitely your game will get negative reviews. Yeah, so although the testing cycle was missed, this is the consequence of that. The client, we somehow managed to give him a game which worked on his device, but that's not the end user, right? Client launched the game, and we faced a lot of crashes and ANRs. But 95% of our crowd was still working nice. We had only 5% ANR or 5% crashes around. So we thought, okay, 95% are still enjoying the game. That's good. It was good for us. It was not good for Play Store. What Play Store did is they actually moved out from all the rankings we had. Even our search results were gone for a toss. There was no new downloads. And luckily, because there was no new download, there was no crash. Because all our new users only were facing crashes. So my team was still happy. No downloads, no crash. I was okay. But my boss came, okay, no downloads, no money, no salary for you guys. So you plan whether you want to solve the crash or you want to take home salary. So that consequence of that is like we did manage something. We fixed that. We use some devices like Device Anywhere and all, where we could actually see the real devices, how it was working. And one of the developer had quick fix, and we released it. That worked for some time, till the time we realized, okay, it actually created a new bug in the system. I'm from Rajasthan. If I don't know if you can identify this transport vehicle, this is a fantastic transport vehicle. It is called Jugaad. Right? Most of the developers do Jugaad. This is now banned because this is although very low cost, where you don't have good transport system, you can use it, but it can set to fire anytime. The engine is so bad, it fires, and there have been so many cases that government has to ban this vehicle. But it's cheapest. So same thing applies for the developers. We do a lot of Jugaad. And because of the Jugaad, there are something which happens on the other end of the game or other end of the code, which you never know. So my lesson number 9 is, if you don't understand the root of the bugs, please don't claim it's solved. It may be solved and for time period, but you definitely have to go to the root of the works to really have a good system, not a jugaad. So finally, we did everything. We patched and we released the game, and it was successful, and we were happy. But at the end of the month, we really got a big bill from Google. Google said, boss, your API keys have been used and you have a 12 lakhs bill which you have to pay. We hardly made 10,000 rupees on that game. And it was like 12 lakhs bill, who will pay? So there were systems which we just ignored, and they were very simple systems. Like every cloud, every services, third-party services which you get, there are some alerts and monitoring systems in place. If you make use of them, you can actually avoid that huge bill. And the market is like very open right now, and people are always accessing your servers. So please set up some alerts and start monitoring early. Otherwise, you will end up doing a bad party. This is big thing. We normally have in most of the games, what we see is there's a request list from the managers, and there's a request list also from the users coming in. And since developers really wanted to please managers, they focus managers request first. Even the product manager, sometimes they ignore the reviews because they have a lot of things on the pipeline. But the bad review, really, it has made one of us game a failure because we had one review which stuck on the Play Store forever. There was a feature request which came from a developer, and for some reason, it always stays there. And we tried to internally rate something and so that review will go down, but it never went down. And that happens usually because if you have one feature which is critical and you are ignoring it, it will stay forever. And our view to I ratio, basically it's a view to install ratio, plummeted very badly. So 11th advice is actively seek and incorporate feedback to enhance user satisfaction. I've seen in indie developers case, they are actually not even replying to the users. It's like a very bad thing, like somebody is knocking on your door and you're not opening the door. So please, community building is definitely must for every game developer. If they are indie developers especially, if you have a separate community building team, that's great, that's their job. All these issues, what I just showed you, could have been definitely avoided if at all I had some project management tools. I was actually exposed to this project management tool very later. Till the time I have struggled a lot, but this is a must. I don't have any lesson for it, but this is a must for everybody. There are tons of tools. I use Jira and Trello a lot. There's Monday, there's Asana, there's so many tools for at least 10, 15 users. These tools also provide free service. It's not charged. So it's a strong recommendation by me. Please use these tools so that you can get out of all this mess, which I have passed through. I learned a very bad way, but you can actually learn it very easy. We used to use post-it notes. This is like exact representation of what my team used to do. But we cannot carry post-it notes in the meeting and forever, like wherever. Now the world is like very dynamic, work from home and all. Better to use digital tools. With that, once we started it, we were using some tools like that, but we were missing a very important piece because I'm a developer and I'm the smartest person in the group. Usually most of the game developers think like, team mein yaar main hi banda hu, first class, kuch bhi aane do, I will jump on it and I will deliver you in few days. That's what happening with me. I also thought like, why do you need architecture, right? I know what is required, I will build it and I will give it to you. But there was a problem. We never thought that our game can become success. People will ask how your system works. When we used to get into trouble, we used to go into forums and saying, boss, can anybody help us? Everybody asked, okay, give your architecture design. For me, the architecture was, there's a box here, server, there's a box here, client. Something is happening in between this. And this was the explanation, and we never got any positive feedback from the forums. Every forum members just ignored us, saying that, boss, you don't have an architecture, we cannot help you. So if you are building dreams, please start with the blueprint. You will always have some high tides which will kill your sandcastle anytime. So architecture design is a must. I was a superhero. The smartest person in the team, always thought. So I thought, okay, why not I can do multiple things at a time? And I started taking up tasks which were not even of my domain. I was expert game developer, front-end guy. Slowly moved to a back-end and thought I will do both together. But then the requirements came, okay, there's a 2D art requirement. I thought, okay, Figma is easy. Okay, tools are there. It's not easy, it's not very difficult for me to just adapt. I'm a superhero. I did that, and forget 2D art or back-end work. I even couldn't complete my front-end work. And most of the projects got delayed because of just this superhero attitude which I had. And I didn't had a fantastic delegation strategy. So that's lesson number 14 which I learned. It took me a long time to understand, like I'm not a superhero. So trust the orchestra. If you really want to build an orchestra, take the baton in your hand and become a producer and let your team really work on it. But if you are a developer, don't take the baton in your hand. It's not advisable. Inefficient resource management. That's another problem because we normally start with a good strategy in place, but the projects are long, the projects are lengthy, and we sometimes have this situation. I think you might have all seen this, and this is the first ball of the match. When the ball went towards Bhuvan, everybody starts running behind it. Okay. This is what is happening after 2 to 3 weeks of your project. Everybody really works towards the same thing because most of the people are free. And few of the guys who are really coding, really heavily involved, they have tons of work along with them. And then everybody surrounds them. This is like inefficient resource planning. And we normally have this situation because at the start, everything is clear, but we cannot future plan it. So the sprint or the agile methodology is really helping in this place. If you follow that, I think some extent this can be solved, but there are fantastic resource management tools as well provided by Jira and provided by Atlassian and Trello. So implement some management tools, and that will really help you to ensure your allocation strategy. Poor change management, almost like 90% of the project what I did, in fact, my own products, company's products, service projects, which I did, I faced that whatever we started with scope of work or whenever we had a perfect plan, the output was always different, at least 30 to 40% deviation from your original idea. And I think everybody can relate to it because at the start of the project, we really don't know what will be the output. Although we have done so much homework, but the output always is different. Like 90% of the cases I've seen this. And if you don't have a good change management system in place, you will find it like you will be doing a lot of work again and again. So please adopt a proactive change management system. This is really important. Why? Definitely there are some tools also which you can, I think McKinsey has a fantastic system. Jira has to some extent I have used, and that's fantastic for change management. But somehow you'll have to implement this strategy in your project. So my game was successful. Definitely we had millions of downloads, fantastic game, and I called everybody and I threw a good party. Even I called investors, but nobody showed up. I was a lone person dancing in the party because everybody asked me, okay, what is your LTV? What is your CAC? I told I'm making money. My game is on the #1 chart on the stores. But everybody asked, okay, what's your lifetime value? I told, okay, do we need that? And definitely we need that. Otherwise, you will be alone like me in the party. So if you're not implementing analytics, like analytics is not just Play Store and App Store data what you get, but every event is really important to calculate your CAC, your LTV, your retention, your engagement. These are the things normally indie developer ignore. And we have to tell them like every time, okay, you need to release an update and at least have some third-party systems or use our proprietary system, but have some analytics in place. So that's my lesson number 17 to you guys. Metrics is important, otherwise you're dancing alone like I did multiple times. In fact, I really didn't care why analytics. So, but after that, we built our own system, fantastic system. All the data was deployed into MongoDB. We had an event management pipeline and everything was working fine. One fine day when I woke up and I started my server, all the tables on MongoDB was gone. There was just one table left with one column, which said, if you want to get your data back, this is our Bitcoin address. So that was a big setback. I thought, okay, how can I miss that? And all my data, like 3-4 weeks of my data was all gone. And this is not my problem. These are some stories which you might have heard. So many hacks have happened. This is the old thing, the recent one, COVID-19 data. In 2023, we lost everything. In fact, everybody here are vulnerable because all our data is there with some Russian hacker, and we don't know what he's doing with it. So at least in your game, it is your responsibility that if your customer data resides on your server, you have to ensure that you have good security plans. That's lesson number 18, very important lesson. Please prioritize robust security measures so that you can have trust with your customers. Otherwise, nobody will trust you. So after all these learnings, definitely I became a dinosaur, right? I'm like a fantastic dinosaur coding something and spent like 20 years coding deeply, but still there was a big problem. Gen AI came up, right? And it showed me, boss, I'm not a dinosaur. I threw my best code to ChatGPT Plus, and it told me, oh, there are better alternatives to it. And I was surprised, okay, I've spent so much time coding this, and this is my best code all 20 years. But if I'm a dinosaur, I'm really going to extinct. If you think you are a dinosaur, and if you're not adapting to the new technologies, definitely there is a very close day coming up for you, and you are going to be extinct like me if I don't go into AI. So that's the lesson which have taught me, and I'm a heavily active AI guy right now. This is the last lesson for me today. Very less time left. I know you guys are hungry now. Soft skills, I have taken around more than 1,000 interviews, and these are like all cheap skills what you see on every CV. You will see that everybody has almost 5 to 10 out of them, and it's very common. But really, it took me a lot of time to learn them. You can check the skills if you have when you miss a deadline. Just go into the team, put all testers, coders, artists, and even project manager together. And if they have missed a deadline very badly, then see how much humility they have, how much relationship they can maintain, and what is their communication skill. I always find out that's the best time to really check all the soft skills. Just wait for a deadline to get missed and put them all in one room. Then you can make a checklist saying that who is having what soft skills. So, yeah, but these are something which I really care about a lot in my team. Every developer should definitely strive a lot. Maybe like if this comes to experience, this is not something which you will have from day one. The skills what you have out of your professional life can be all this. You may be very good hardworking at your home, but you are not very hardworking in the company because it's a two different environment. You may be very humble, humility guy, but it doesn't work your same in your professional life. So, and it impacts the entire developer ecosystem, it impacts your team. That's my 20 lessons to you. A quick recap for you. I've really spent a very hard time to learn all this, but if something can be useful to you, right? I think there are some items which are just a revision for most of the veterans here, super game developers here. They say, okay, this is all we have also learned. But it's the same story which I wanted to share with you guys. Open to, oh, that's my game over. If you have any question, that's one coin. Anybody for a coin? Bitcoin. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm here available throughout the day. Please reach me if you have anything. Thank you very much.